this month of April, things are starting to move forward, and they're starting to move forward quickly. We have Venus and Mercury both stationing direct in Pisces this month. Both will also be forming an intense conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. Now, Saturn is gearing up to move out of Pisces, so this conjunction is important as it probably won't happen for a wee while again. We do have an important full moon happening the beginning of the month in Libra, really highlighting how far we've come over our eclipse journey over the past couple of years, as this is the first full moon in Libra that we've had that isn't an eclipse in some time. We also have a new moon in Taurus at the end of this month, wrapping up this month's energy, but before that we have some fiery ingresses of Mercury into Aries and Mars back into Leo, both regressing back into these signs, moving forward out of their retrograde shadow periods. So without further ado, let's get into this month's energy in more detail and look at where this energy is happening for you based on your rising sign. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alex. I'm an astrologer based in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and in today's video we'll be breaking down the transits, all transits are important, but the key transits that are happening this month, and then looking at where these energies are happening for you based on your rising sign. If you'd like to connect with me, you can connect with me over on Instagram at Venus and Virgo Astrology, and you can also check out my offerings over on my website www.venusandvirgoastrology.com. Now, my books are currently closed for readings, so if you'd like to join my mailing list, you'll be one of the first to know when I do reopen my books, and with a sneaky subscriber discount. So if you do enjoy my videos, please feel free to subscribe and like this video, as it does really help me out. And feel free to leave me a comment in the comment box below and let me know how you're feeling and how last month was for you. It was a pretty intense month last month. Now, I do use New Zealand Standard Time for my timings for this month's energy, so please make sure to adjust this for you based on where you're located in the world. But without further ado, let's get into this month's energies. Kicking off the beginning of April, we do have Venus and Mercury both retrograde in Pisces, conjoining the North Node in Pisces. Now, this energy is important as we will revisit it towards the tail end of this month, but what this energy is kind of showing us or having us look at on a personal level is maybe where we're wanting to head, maybe where we're wanting to grow or just increase our opportunities in our lives. Maybe we're working towards something and we're just needing to take a step back or revisit something, as this retrograde energy is calling us to withdraw, revisit, revise, relook at how far we've come and what we need to do to get to where we want to be. Again, this is this energy of maybe reforming our goals, maybe relooking at things that if we're not on the right path, how can we sort of redirect or readjust our course correction or our path correction in some way. Maybe we're just needing to revisit old projects that maybe are to do with where we're wanting to be headed, but we've kind of let things slip. Wherever Pisces is in your chart, or if you have strong Piscean energy, you're likely feeling this conjunction quite personally, but we will look at where this is happening for you based on your rising sign later in the video. Then on the 7th of April, we do have Mercury finally stationing direct in Pisces at 26 degrees and 49 minutes of Pisces, and this will be happening at 11:07 p.m. Now, Mercury will be moving out of its shadow period later this month, so we'll touch on that later on, but we finally have Mercury stationing direct, so this is a good thing, especially for all those Mercury ruled signs out there. So if you have strong Gemini or Virgo energy, you're likely breathing a breath of fresh air right now. Also on the 7th of April, we have Venus retrograde in Pisces conjoining Saturn in Pisces. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, Saturn will be leaving Pisces this year, so this energy is important. Whatever is coming up here is likely this final energy of Saturn and Pisces for us, especially conjoining such a personal planet, especially with this planet in retrograde. We're going to revisit this very shortly again later this month. So maybe we're feeling like we need to tighten the purse strings. Maybe we are feeling like there's some sort of restriction around how we express our values and how we express our love or our love language, or how we're receiving love, or how we're connecting in our relationships some way. Maybe we're looking at relationships that maybe have fallen to the wayside. Maybe we're reconnecting with people or romantic partnerships in a way that maybe has fallen off a bit, or maybe we're just reconnecting with ourselves in a way to really readjust or fix some sort of foundation. Maybe we're needing to just pay more attention, or maybe we are just wanting to really look at how we're investing ourselves, our energy, our finances, our resources. Is this serving us, or do we need to change this in some way? Is this helping us build the foundation that we're needing to build? Is this helping us with the boundaries that we've been working on putting into our relationships or around our finances and our spending? This will be heavily dependent on where this energy is happening for you personally, but collectively we're likely feeling like things are just feeling a little tight and restricted right now, especially in Pisces, which is a boundaryless sign. Things are starting to feel a bit constricted. It's starting to feel maybe a little bit suffocating. Maybe we're feeling like we can't breathe. We just need to escape some way. Try to not escape through relationships or through spending. This energy is maybe enforcing us in a kind, gentle way to look at how we prioritize where we put in discipline in our lives. Are we doing things that are hurting us or helping us? I feel like this energy is maybe identifying things that we've maybe done in the past that have maybe hindered our progress. How can we do things in a positive, constructive way to move forward? Then on the 11th of April, Mercury will conjoin the North Node in Pisces. So again, we had this energy on the 1st of April, and this is Mercury coming back around again to reactivate this energy for us. So really looking at it from maybe a new perspective, with Mercury now direct and moving out of its shadow period, looking at things from a viewpoint that's maybe not so confused or not thinking straight. Now we've maybe got a clearer vision, we've got clearer perspectives on things, we've maybe had some different insights or information come through that wasn't privy to us before. Maybe we're ready to apply that knowledge and that mindset and insight to these goals that we're wanting to work towards over the next few months to really grow, transform, and change this area in our lives. On the 13th of April, Venus will be stationing direct in Pisces at 24 degrees and 37 minutes of Pisces, and this will be happening at 1:02 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, and Venus will be in her shadow retrograde period until the 16th of May 2025. So we'll touch on what she's looking like in May when we get to that next month, but Venus is now moving out of her shadow retrograde period. Also on the 13th of April, we have the full moon happening in Libra at 23 degrees of Libra and 19 minutes, and it's happening at 12:22 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is the first full moon lunation in Libra that we're having that is not an eclipse. So this energy is potent. It's reminding us of the endings and the closures that we've maybe needed to have, or a final culmination of something. Remember, the South Node was in Libra for the past couple of years, so we've had a lot of letting go energy in the area of Libra that's ruled in our chart. So we've had a lot of shifts and changes and transformation happening to do with whatever Libra rules in our chart, in our personal chart, but also to do with relationships, finances, and what we deem really valuable to us on a really personal level. So at the time of this Libra full moon, we do have some pretty intense energy happening. So obviously we have Chiron still in Aries, and Chiron has been a part of this Libra Aries axis for the past couple of years. We've had a lot of healing happening to do in our Aries area of our chart. So this full moon is no different. So we might be feeling quite triggered or quite something is coming up for us that we're maybe not quite ready to look at or heal, or we're finally having to look at and heal it. We've had Neptune just move into Aries, so it's in a wide conjunction. It's obviously a sign-based conjunction to this Sun in Aries and full moon in Libra energy happening, but it's maybe adding that layer of illusionment, adding that layer of uncertainty to where it is that we're like ready to let go. Something is coming up, whether we like it or not, that it is coming to a culmination point. We have Mercury, the North Node, Saturn, and Venus in quite a close conjunction altogether, a stellium, if you will, in Pisces. So this energy, maybe we are feeling like we can't quite express ourselves as well, because Mercury is obviously just stationed direct, so has Venus. So Mercury doesn't really like being in Pisces, so we're maybe not able to express ourselves in the clearest, most concise way. With Venus in Pisces, Venus is in her exaltation of Pisces, but she's still in that retrograde shadow period, just like Mercury. So Venus is at her highest octave, if you will, in Pisces, and maybe got a bit of rose-colored glasses on. And with Neptune in Aries, and really putting those rose-colored glasses on again with this energy, we're not seeing straight at the time of this full moon. So it would be probably wise to avoid making any sudden, rash, or important decisions around the time of this full moon. Maybe just sit back and see how things play out. We do have Mars forming a really positive trine to Neptune and Mercury at the time of this full moon, and a positive sextile to the South Node, and obviously trine to the North Node. So we are maybe ready to positively let go of something in order to move towards and achieve our goals in some sort of a way, but it could be quite an emotional letting go. Mars is forming an opposition to Pluto, which we will touch on a little bit later in this month's energy. So it's starting to form this opposition to Pluto, which is this deeply transformative energy, this potent energy, this ending energy, really, ending and letting go energy. So there is some intense energy. Jupiter is also forming a trine to this moon in Libra energy, so it is maybe amplifying how we're feeling. Anything Jupiter touches, it expands, although it's a positive energy. It could be making us feel a little bit overwhelmed in some way. Uranus is forming a sextile to Mercury and also to the North Node, and a trine to the South Node at the time of this full moon. So something unexpected could just be popping up. We could be having unexpected insights, downloads, or thoughts. We could just be feeling like uncertain. There's this huge uncertainty in energy around the time of this full moon. So if you are needing to make decisions that you're not quite clear on, I would wait. I would wait until Mercury is out of its shadow period, and I would wait till Venus is out of its shadow period, especially with Venus being the ruler of this full moon in Libra. So I would just suggest waiting a little bit to see how things pan out before making any important or harsh or rash decisions around the time of this full moon in Libra. Again, it is highlighting to us how far we've come over these eclipses and these transformative energies that we've had. Maybe we're at a point where we're ready to just step into this new energy. We're feeling a bit lighter, like we've shed a second skin in some way, but maybe something here is just coming up to maybe trigger us one last time. They're ready to finally move on from. But again, avoid making rash, impulsive decisions around the time of this full moon. Then on the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into Aries. Obviously, we've had this energy recently this year already, so Mercury is finally moving out of its shadow retrograde period. Mercury in Aries is very direct, very forthright in its expression. So if you're needing to have conversations or make plans, this is a lovely energy to really get those ideas out there. It might not be great for follow through, but it's a great cardinal energy to really get those ideas and those juices flowing. On the 17th of April, Mercury will conjoin Neptune in Aries. Now, this is a new energy. We haven't had this before. So we will wait to see what this energy brings as a collective, but technically, this energy should bring us some insightful ideas and creative insights. But in Aries, we might just be using this energy, this potent cardinal energy, to really progress us forward. Maybe we're feeling really lit up and inspired to take progressive action. Maybe we're also feeling uncertain and unsure where to put this energy. Maybe we're having thoughts and insights that we can't quite nail down. Maybe we're just having too much energy, too much thoughts, too much conversations all at once. It's a very go energy and a very uncertain, murky energy. So I don't quite like this energy, but I also like it great for creative writing, great for creative intuitive energy, and great for making plans and thinking outside the box. Very good energy for planning goals and really thinking differently to maybe perspectives that you've had before, especially when Mercury was in Aries earlier this year. Then on the 18th of April, Mars will move into Leo. We've had obviously this energy at the end of last year. So Mars is finally moving out of its retrograde shadow period, which will end on May 2nd when Mars finally moves out of its retrograde period. So Mars in Aries is a very passionate energy. It's a nice energy for Mars because it's a fire energy, but it could be quite stubborn. So it's kind of like my way or the highway kind of energy. So great for maybe putting your energy into passion projects or getting creative, or maybe putting your energy into relationships, or just rekindling the spark, romantic spark in your relationships in some way. But not a great energy if you're needing to collaborate with people. It could be good for bringing a positive energy into group settings, but just be cautious if you are needing to shift and change your perspective, just to be a bit more flexible on that, as this energy being so fixed in Leo can be quite a little bit challenging. And then on the 20th of April, the sun will move into Taurus. So happy Taurus season, happy birthday season to all the Taurus suns out there. Personally, I really love Taurus energy. I think it's beautiful, grounded, positive, just a really nice energy for connecting with people that you love, connecting with doing things that you love, maybe luxuriating and eating lovely food, maybe investing in your style, investing in your home. This is a perfect energy to utilize into this month and next month. Then on the 21st of April, we do have the sun in Taurus squaring Mars in Leo. So again, this is a very challenging, grinding energy. We might feel like we're wanting to put our ideas, opinions, and energy into something, and we're met with resistance, which could be triggering and challenging. So just to be cautious, things might not be going your way, but just know that it's not just you. Everyone's kind of feeling this energy. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of maybe some conflict around the 21st of April. So just to be cautious around this time. If you're exerting yourself, just try not to overdo it, because this energy is tricky. Also on the 21st, we have Saturn conjoining the North Node in Pisces. So we're maybe really getting clear and clarifying the goals that we're wanting to set. Maybe the ideas that we had come up around the 1st, we're starting to put those into solid plans and solid action from the 21st onwards. Then on the 24th of April, the sun in Taurus will square Pluto in Aquarius. So this energy, again, we're feeling this maybe draining or transformative or just potent energy, like something is just triggering us. We're feeling a little bit like just really challenged this week. Like this week of the 24th to the 27th, I feel like it's just be cautious. Be cautious when you're out in the world. If you're not feeling it personally, the world is feeling it. We're all experiencing this energy. So proceed with caution. From the 21st of April onwards, this energy is maybe helping us to overcome some sort of setback or challenge or restriction that we might have placed on ourselves. Maybe we're just feeling really energetically challenged. Maybe we're just feeling like we can't quite get somewhere, we can't quite do something. It's a very fixed energy. It's a very stubborn energy. We're just needing to overcome something in order to progress forward. Some trigger is getting triggered this week. So just be cautious this week. Also on the 24th of April, Venus will conjoin the North Node in Pisces again. Now, we had this energy at the beginning of the month, so whatever energy that we had coming up is coming up again to revisit. So like I said on the 1st, we might be just looking at how far we want to go this year, where we want to be, what we want to achieve, and maybe where we want to see our relationships or our finances grow and shift and transform in some way. This is a lovely energy to look at where you can invest your time, energy, and resources into to help you achieve these goals, especially wherever Pisces rules in your chart. Then on the 25th of April, Venus will conjoin Saturn. So again, we had this energy just after Mercury station direct. So whatever was coming up for us that we were revisiting, maybe to do with how we felt restricted around our finances or within our relationships, it's coming up again. So whatever was coming up for us on the 7th is now coming up for us again on the 25th. So maybe we identified things that we needed to change, and now we're started to put our energy into looking at how we're changing that or maybe we're starting to see things progress forward, or we're feeling less stuck, we're feeling less restricted, we're now feeling like we can solidify some sort of energy in our lives to do with our finances, our resources, or our relationships, to do with ourselves, to do with wherever Pisces rules in our chart, to do with wherever Libra and Taurus rule in our chart. So just looking at where we can sort of set ourselves up for success, that's going to help us over the long term. Then on the 26th of April, Mercury will finally move out of its retrograde shadow period at 9 degrees and 35 minutes of Aries. Then on the 27th of April, Mars in Leo will oppose Pluto in Aquarius. I told you this week was going to be tricky. It's a challenging energy. Again, this opposing energy of like our passion, our drive, our motivation is being opposed by some sort of transformation, some sort of energy that is maybe being drained from us. Maybe we're really going through some sort of deeply transformative energy. Obviously, it's regenerating energy. It's also a transit of Pluto and Aquarius that we're kind of used to right now, but we're getting triggered again, especially if you have any strong fixed sign energy. So that's Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, or Taurus energy, especially Leo and Aquarius energy. If you have personal placements in either of these signs, you're really going to feel this energy. It's this, we're needing to balance this energy in our chart. We're maybe feeling like we're just wanting to go, progress forward, but Pluto and Aquarius is maybe making us look at things from more of a perspective of the collective rather than a personal perspective, and a very much that individual perspective that we're really experiencing with Mars transiting the sign of Leo. Then on the 28th of April, we do have the new moon happening in the sign of Taurus, and this is happening at 7:31 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time, and it's happening at 7 degrees and 46 minutes of Taurus. At the time of this new moon, I do like this new moon, however, we do have that opposing Mars and Pluto energy, which we just touched on. We do also have quite an intense energy in Pisces and Aries still, along with Taurus. So at the time of this new moon, Venus and Saturn will be forming a positive trine to Mars in Leo. So this is a nice energy. Maybe we're feeling motivated and inspired to really go after those goals and ideas that we've maybe been thinking about with this Venus conjoined Saturn over the past few weeks. We're really starting to maybe put that energy into motion, especially around the time of this new moon. Maybe we're just making ideas and plans around where we're wanting to go, we're wanting to progress forward, we're really feeling lit up and inspired. However, Mars is opposing Pluto, so we're feeling this restricted, challenging, not so much restricted, but this is challenging energy that we're really needing to just overcome something or balance this energy of going after what you want. But is it the most appropriate sort of goals or actions we're taking that is benefiting not only ourselves but those around us as well? Are we putting the needs of ourselves before the needs of others? And is this going to hinder us later on? This is this energy I'm feeling around the time of this new moon. So just be cautious when you are sort of making goals or plans. Have a look and think, am I doing this in a way that's going to help me in the short term, or is it going to help me in the long term? And is it going to help really transform and deepen my achievements or deepen my progression forward in a way that's not hindering others as well? So this new moon is positive, but also a little bit triggering and challenging, as this opposition of Mars and Pluto is forming a T-square. It's not a super strong T-square, but it is a T-square to this new moon energy. So we're feeling triggered and challenged this new moon. So it is cute, but it's also triggering. So it's like this nice Taurus new moon. The moon loves being in Taurus. It's exalted in Taurus. We have some nice positive trine energy happening. We have a really strong trine from Uranus to the south node and a sextile to the north node. But then we have this T-square kind of shaking everything up. Things are like really being triggered and transformed around the time of this new moon. Maybe we're having insights or downloads that we haven't really had before. We're feeling like maybe we're ready to shift and change out of some sort of energy, but we're not quite sure how to get there, and we're not quite sure what is going on. I feel like it's still quite intense. It's still quite confusing. We do have Venus forming an out of sign conjunction to Neptune in Aries, and obviously Venus is is the ruler of this new moon. So she's confused and maybe not in the best mindset right now. She's also in Pisces, so she's got those rose-colored glasses on. She's vibrating at a very high octave right now, if you want to look at it that way. But she is quite not in the most clearest of mind, especially in this out of sign conjunction to Neptune. So again, another sort of energy where it's not as proceed with caution as the full moon was, but it is a warning that it could be triggering. You could be emotional. It could be quite like emotional in the sense that it's like really firing you up. You might feel like you want to crash out around the time of this new moon. So just to be cautious that there will be some really triggering, challenging and activating energy around the time of the new moon. But in saying that, it's a great new moon to identify the triggers and challenges in your life right now. Identify these energies and how you can look at things from a perspective of doing things differently, of looking at things through a perspective of how can you shift and change this energy in your life in order to move forward or move on so you're not as triggered by this energy when it comes up again. So without further ado, let's move into the next part of the video and we'll look at where all of this energy is happening for you based on your rising sign. Just a reminder, you can watch this next part for your sun, moon and rising to get a full picture of what this energy has in store for you. So for Aries and Aries rising, the energy of April will be happening throughout your 12th house, your first house, your second house, and your 7th house. So at the beginning of the month, pay attention to any messages or insights that could be coming through to you with your dreams. You might be feeling the need to isolate in order to really get clear on the goals and ideas that you want to put into action and put into motion over these next few months with the North Node and the eclipses happening on this axis for you. You could just be needing to take some time aside to heal, transform and move on in private before you're ready to put this out into the world around you, especially with Mercury and Venus both stationing direct in your Pisces 12th house. There's a lot of energy happening behind the scenes for you that maybe is not quite ready for you to share with the public just yet. So keeping those things under wrap, especially like relationships or financial investments, things like that, or just ideas that you have, maybe keep those private for now until they've started to grow and deepen themselves and embed themselves deeper into your life, that you're ready to really share those with the world around you. The full moon in Libra will be happening in your 7th house. So you're obviously accustomed to this energy with the North and South Node being on this axis for you. It is a bit of an easier energy with this full moon happening without the South Node in your 7th house and on your descendant. So this energy is a little bit lighter, but it will be a little bit tricky. So with whatever, like I said, with the full moon interpretation, I would just wait to see how the dust settles with that full moon. There's some sort of tricky, challenging energy, or we're not thinking quite clear around our relationships for you, Aries rising, or contracts or clients. So if there's any triggers or challenges coming up to do with this area in life for you, just wait till the dust settles before making any important, and don't make any rash decisions around the time of this full moon. Mercury moving into your first house at the middle of the month, moving out of its shadow period. You're likely feeling like you can kind of express yourself a little easier. Maybe those ideas and plans have started to take motion or gain traction, so you're wanting to maybe talk about them more. You're feeling a little bit more energized or just able to express yourself and your emotions on a bit of an easier way, in a bit of a more direct and more passionate way that maybe you were not able to before. Mars will be moving into your Leo 5th house, so you might feel some inspiration or some challenge, or just ready to separate from relationships or hobbies, or there might be some challenges that pop up, or maybe you're motivated to do things that maybe inspire you or light you up in some way, or maybe there are challenges that pop up to do if you have children. Maybe there could be just some tricky energy around this energy for you, but likely you're feeling just inspired and motivated to really lean into your passions and what lights you up a little bit more. The sun will be moving into your Taurus 2nd house, highlighting that financial financial house for you. So this will also be where the new moon will happen in Taurus. So like I said, this new moon is a little triggering, a little challenging. So it's a good new moon, but it is also going to bring up a lot of intensity, especially around your passions, what lights you up, especially around your relationships and friendships in your life. So if you are feeling quite triggered, maybe you're feeling like your values aren't aligning with certain relationships that you've kind of got yourself into, just wait till the dust settles again around the time of this new moon before progressing forward. But it's likely bringing to the surface some sort of trigger that could be coming up for you, especially to do with your finances. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Aries and Aries rising. Gratitude, appreciate present blessings. I think that's a nice energy for you, Aries rising. I think feeling gratitude, especially with this energy coming up around the time of that new moon, I feel like you maybe aren't feeling as like blessed as maybe you are. I think that maybe is bringing to the surface some sort of trigger to do with your values or your finances in some way. I think maybe with a lot of this Piscean energy, it's quite challenging for you right now, Aries. So just being quite grateful for where you're at and how far you've come, I think will be key for you this month ahead. So all up, it will be a bit of a tricky month, but also a month of working behind the scenes before you're ready to share with the world. You'll be likely feeling driven and passionate to invest energy into relationships or what brings you joy, lights you up, or even activities and hobbies that maybe your children are interested in. Maybe you're feeling more passionate and driven to do those sort of things and to invest in friendships that really light you up as well this month, Aries and Aries rising. Taurus and Taurus rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 11th house, your 12th house, your 1st house, your 4th house, and also your 6th house. So at the beginning of the month, this energy will be happening throughout your 11th house of Pisces. So maybe you're having some insights or downloads into the goals, hopes, dreams, and wishes that you're maybe working towards or working on. Maybe you're just revisiting where you've come from or how far you've got to go with this area in life for you. There's some deep transformation energy happening here for you, Taurus rising. Then on the 7th of April, Mercury will be stationing direct in your 11th house of Pisces. So there will be some progressing forward and moving forward with these goals and plans from the 7th of April onwards. Then on the 13th of April, the full moon in Libra will be happening on your 6th and 12th house axis. So like I said, this full moon is a proceed with caution. It's a wait till the dust settles type of energy. So if you have had any triggers or information coming up to do with your work, your daily routines, your health, specifically I'm getting insights around your health right now, Taurus rising. Don't act or make harsh, rash decisions straight away. If you have to make decisions on something, I would just wait till the dust settles. Just wait for a few days after that full moon energy to really think clearly. We're not really thinking clearly right now with all this Piscean energy. So just be cautious. Just take your time. Feel it out, work out what's right for you before making any decisions. Venus will also station direct on this day of the 13th in your Pisces 12th house as well. So it is going to start feeling a bit easier for you, Taurus rising, with Venus being your chart ruler. So maybe you are ready to invest time, energy, or finances into those goals, hopes, dreams, and wishes that you are working towards. On the 16th of April, Mercury will move into your Aries 12th house. So there could be some energy of just working behind the scenes or keeping things a little bit private, having conversations in private, just really connecting inward, listening to your dreams or insights that come through to you in your dreams. Pay attention to those sort of insights or downloads this from the 16th onwards, because this is a bit of an energy potentially to do with what maybe was coming up around the time of that full moon as well. On the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo 4th house. So you're maybe feeling inspired to tackle some home projects, or you're feeling inspired to maybe separate yourself from some sort of living situation or home situation that's maybe not feeling really good. It's not lighting you up, not helping you feel creative, not helping you feel inspired. So you could be just wanting to either put your time, energy into making that creative and inspiring, or you're wanting to separate yourself from that in some way. Then on the 20th of April, the sun will move into your first house. So you're likely feeling lit up and energized from the 20th of April onwards. With the sun being in your 12th house for the past few weeks, you'll likely have been feeling a bit drained, a bit lethargic, a bit like you're wanting to not be in the spotlight. Maybe from the 20th onward, you're starting to feel a little bit more energized and a little bit more confident again, Taurus rising. And on the 28th, the new moon will be happening in your first house of self. So again, another trickier energy. So just to proceed with a bit of caution, there's likely a lot of triggers potentially coming up for your home and work life situation that you could be feeling really torn or really pulled in a couple of directions, or you're feeling really just triggered by that energy in general, especially with that Mars in your fourth house. Maybe you have sort of started the process of removing yourself from something, and now you're feeling the repercussion. Now you're feeling kind of the repercussions or consequences or challenges from that. So something is coming up and triggering. So just be conscious of this. Whatever is triggering you right now is something you can learn from to progress forward and to not let trigger you so much moving forward. So let's see what the cards have in store for you, Taurus and Taurus rising. This one popped up face up before others fell out. So it is listen, silence your mind and pay attention. Very spot on with that Mercury transiting that 12th house for you, Taurus rising. So just listen to what is unsaid, listen to your mind and pay attention to what's coming through to you, pay attention to your insights, pay attention to your downloads. So just listen this month. Listen before acting, I think, is going to be a big one for you, Taurus and Taurus rising. Not that you're an impulsive energy anyway, but with Uranus still in your first house, you could be feeling a bit impulsive still. So all out for you, Taurus rising. This is the energy to really pay attention to what's coming through to you in your insights and downloads. Maybe you're having some new insights, downloads to do with your hopes, dreams and wishes and progressing forward on your goals that you're wanting to achieve this year. And there could be something coming up for you health-wise that you maybe just needed to take a step back from and just listen and wait till the dust settles. Maybe you're wanting to remove yourself or shift and change your home life in some way, and there could be something triggering to do with this come up for you around that new moon at the end of the month. For Gemini and Gemini rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 10th house, your 11th house, your 12th house, your 3rd house and your 5th house. The beginning of the month, all of this Piscean energy will be happening in your 10th house of career. So there is something coming up for you that is deeply transforming and changing to do with your career, your public achievements, your most outwardly achievements. So maybe you're just revisiting the goals that you have this year. The goals that you want to achieve this year are going to be like a key theme at the beginning of this month for you to really revise and look at, especially with Mercury and Venus stationing direct in this house for you. You're going to feel like this energy is progressing forward. It's felt a little halted over the past few weeks, and now you're going to start progressing forward and moving out of that stagnation period. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your Libra 5th house and your Aries 11th house. So this energy will be like balancing what lights you up, makes you feel inspired, and maybe your commitments, your relationships in your life, your hopes, dreams and wishes. This is a nice energy for this full moon, although it is a challenging halt. Don't progress forward straight away. Full moon, it is like, see what the dust settles when it comes to maybe challenges that are arising for you in these houses, or maybe you're just appreciating how far you've come with the eclipses happening on this axis for you over the past few months. So pay attention to what's coming up. I feel like this energy won't be too bad for you, Gemini rising, but it will be just highlighting maybe where you've been, how you want to get to this next spot, and what you've achieved so far. Then on the 16th of April, Mercury will move into your Aries 11th house. So you may be likely feeling inspired to maybe put those ideas that you had around your career achievements and where you want to go with your career and your public achievements sort of into that energy of Aries that's very progressing forward, very wanting to go, very wanting to start and get those goals underway. So I feel like this is a really nice energy for you, Gemini rising. You're very feeling inspired and passionate to go after and to start achieving what it is you want to achieve. You feel like a breath of fresh air in this area in life for you. Then on the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo 3rd house. So there could be some challenges when it comes to communicating and expressing yourself. You could feel like if you have any travel plans, like especially local travel travel plans. Maybe things are feeling a little bit challenging or triggering, or maybe you feel like you're just ready to remove yourself from some sort of situation or conversation or study that you might have been doing that you're like, I'm done, I'm not feeling inspired and lit up by this anymore. It's time to move on. It's time to sort of move past this, because again, this is Mars moving out as its shadow period. So you've like felt this energy before at the end of last year. So whatever was coming up for you then, it's now time to move forward and to progress forward and out of that energy for you. Then on the 20th of April, the sun will move into your Taurus 12th house. So you're likely feeling maybe you're wanting to withdraw a little bit. It's been quite public for you over the past couple of months, but now you're ready to maybe withdraw a little bit. Take time aside to really just refocus and recalibrate your energy, especially your energy levels. So you could be feeling just a draw to withdraw, and be feeling drawn to withdraw from society a little bit and work behind the scenes, especially leading into this Taurus new moon on the 28th of April. It's going to be like maybe an ending new moon for you in that 12th house of endings. It could be maybe bringing up some health challenges, or just needing to just be behind the scenes, or just really withdraw. Again, I feel like this is like this rest energy. You're really needing to rest and recharge. Something is coming up to trigger you to do with maybe travel. Maybe you have been traveling a little bit, or you have travel coming up that you're really needing to rest and just make sure you're at your peak performance in order to really enjoy this time. Or maybe you are just feeling pulled in lots of different directions. Maybe lots of conversations or situations are coming up for you. There could be maybe some legal things that are coming up that are challenging or triggering right now for you. Something is coming up that is really pushing you to deeply transform and move forward from this energy, to really set you up for not being triggered by this in the future. But I feel like it will be quite tricky. It definitely has something to do with what was happening at the end of last year. So if that hasn't fully resolved itself, I feel like now it will. So let's see what the cards have in store for you, Gemini rising, especially if that's to do with like legal. I feel like this is maybe the time where you're going to get that closure on that energy. Remember who you are, return to the roots. So I do feel like that is maybe re-emphasizing that need to withdraw, that need to return to being just in your own energy, just being working behind the scenes, not being so public, with a lot of this energy happening in your 12th house. So this month is all about returning to your roots, returning to what inspires you and lights you up, Gemini rising. So all up, it's going to be a month of maybe needing to reserve your energy, withdraw, work behind the scenes a little bit. Maybe you're feeling lit up and inspired to really progress forward on those goals and achievements that you're wanting to achieve, to do with your career, and then transformation happening around your career and public achievements right now, Gemini rising. For Cancer and Cancer rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 9th house, your 10th house, your 11th house, your 2nd house, and also your 4th house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening in your 9th house of travel, your connection with people from overseas or different cultures, or some higher legal studies or publishing, if that's kind of prevalent for you right now, Cancer rising. So something's coming up for you to recalibrate this energy in your life. You're looking at how far you want to go, what you want to achieve, and what you need to do to get there, especially with Mercury and Venus both stationing direct in this house for you. There's been a lot of revisiting maybe old goals or old projects these last few weeks and over this last month, really, to looking at where this energy is for you and what these goals and achievements that you have, and maybe where you can set yourself up for success that's going to last a wee while for you, Cancer rising. It's likely feeling quite personal, because it will probably have tried your ascendant in at some point, especially if your ascendant is in the later degrees of Cancer. Then on the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 4th house of Libra and your 10th house of Aries. So this full moon will feel triggering, potentially, because it will form a bit of a square to your ascendant, and potentially, or especially with Mars being on your ascendant, I feel like this energy is maybe a little bit tricky for you around the time of this full moon. Again, it's a full moon of halt, wait, don't make any rash or harsh or sudden decisions, wait till that dust settles. So again, you could be feeling like really triggered personally by this full moon. It's really identifying maybe how far you've come in your career in your home life over these past couple of years. So maybe you are feeling triggered, or you're feeling ready to just sort of take that leap that you've been working towards, or you're really feeling inspired in some way, or you're feeling like you're really just ready for that change now. You've done the work, you're finally ready to move on, are finally ready to bring this to a culmination point. But it is saying to just hold off a little bit. We're not thinking quite so clearly right now. Wait till the dust settles and then start progressing forward. Then on the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into your Aries 10th house. So maybe those ideas that you had that you're wanting to really put into motion, you can start doing that now with Mercury moving into your 10th house for you. Things are starting to move forward. Mercury's moving out of its shadow period. It's maybe felt a bit delayed or a bit stuck these past few weeks, especially with both personal planets being in retrograde in Pisces. So this is a progressing forward energy for you, especially from the 18th onwards, with Mars finally moving out of your first house where it has had a bit of an extended stay. So with Mars moving into your second house, you mean look to what was happening towards the end of last year, what was coming up for you. This energy can feel quite triggering to do with finances. So if challenges were happening, or you are feeling inspired to maybe grow your finances or go after new financial streams of income, or sever financial streams of income that maybe feel no longer aligned with you anymore, you've really had that time to review and revisit it and just really ready to move on now. But there is some sort of challenge happening here, especially with this Mars-Pluto opposition, which is going to be really prevalent and really intensified with this Taurus new moon at the end of the month. But before that, the Sun will move into your Taurus 11th house, which will be highlighting your relationships in your life. So really lean into those relationships and those friendships to really get you through this more challenging energy around the time of this new moon. As I said, this new moon is going to be bringing up some triggers. This could be bringing up some personal triggers to do with your finances, to maybe where you are at with your finances. Maybe you're feeling like you're not really where you want to be. Maybe you're feeling like you're lacking in some way to do with your finances, or maybe just feeling triggered to do with something in this area in life for you, Cancer rising. So just be cautious of this energy around the time of this new moon. It's just helping us to identify what's triggering us so we can move on from it and not be so triggered by it in the long term. But let's see what the cards have in store for you, Cancer and Cancer rising. Well, we did get the moon, and that's so perfect for you, Cancer rising, being ruled by the moon. Subconscious mind, feminine intuition. So again, maybe just a reminder that listen to your intuition. Your subconscious mind, your feminine, your intuition, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that energy, especially with Jupiter in your 12th house right now. It's maybe really intensifying this energy for you, Cancer rising. You're someone who is very sensitive to that intuitive energy. You're very sensitive to emotions. Your energy levels likely shift and change like the moon. So just pay attention to this energy. Track the moon this month. Track where it is, and see how your energy fluctuates over this month, especially with these two quite challenging lunations of April. So all up for you, Cancer rising. There'll be a focus on maybe some higher study, legalities, or travel, or publishing towards the beginning of the month. Maybe you're just changing and shifting your goals around this area in life. There are some challenges maybe coming up to do with your career and a public reputation in your home life around the time of that full moon. There'll also be a focus on your finances and your financial streams of income, and it could be quite triggering around the time of that new moon in Taurus. And there is just a note to just really listen to that intuition of yours and pay attention to your energy levels this month, Cancer rising. For Leo and Leo rising, this energy of April will be happening through your 8th house, your 9th house, your 10th house, your 1st house, and also your 3rd house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening throughout your 8th house of Pisces. So there could be some new financial goals or streams of income that you're maybe been working towards or wanting to call in over the next year or so with the North Node in your 8th house of Pisces. So at the beginning of the month, especially with Mercury and Venus stationing direct in this house for you, you could be coming up with new plans, ideas, or ways you can invest your time, energy, and resources into things that will pay out for you in the long term. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 3rd house of Libra and your 9th house of Aries. So there could be some culmination to come to do with your travel, whether that be local or international travel, whether that be how you communicate or express yourself, or the work and ideas that you're putting out into the world. Now again, like I said earlier in the video, that this full moon is a full moon to maybe halt, take a step back and just reassess how far you've come with the eclipses happening in these houses for you over the past few months, and maybe not take action on things that are coming up right away, but maybe just taking a bit of a pause and waiting for the next couple of days for this energy to disperse a little before taking action and putting things into motion, just because we're not thinking quite so clearly around the time of this full moon. On the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into your Aries 9th house. So this is a great opportunity to really communicate and put forward and express those ideas or plans, or start putting things out there and putting things into motion. You might be starting to think out of the box a little clearer or a little differently with Mercury conjoining Neptune in this house for you, but this is a great time to start putting those ideas and plans into motion. On the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your 1st house of Self. So this energy is something that you're quite familiar with, especially towards the end of last year. Mars was transiting this house for you. So this is an energy just to be cautious. You might feel a little bit drained or just all passionate or lit up to go after things that inspire you or light you up, but you could feel a little bit triggered or challenged or inflamed with Mars transiting this house for you on a very personal level. The Sun will be moving into your Taurus 10th house on the 20th of April, which will be leading you up for this new moon happening on the 28th of April in this 10th house for you. So this new moon, like I said, it is also a little bit challenging. So to maybe be conscious and aware that there could be some triggers that are coming up to do with yourself and your relationships, your clients in your life. You could be feeling like maybe things are feeling a little stagnant, or you're getting triggered or challenged by situations that could be coming up that you're wanting to really progress forward and take some unexpected risks or unexpected changes in your career, but things maybe aren't sort of working at as quick of a pace as you maybe had hoped or had wanted them to. So there could be some balancing needing to happen between yourself and your relationships in your life. Whether you're married, it could be to do with your marriage as well, but it could also be to do with your clientele or your one-to-one working relationships in your life, to do with your career and how they are helping you or hindering you in the progress that you want to make within your career moving forward. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Leo and Leo rising. Manifestation, what you desire is on its way. I love that energy for you. I think that's quite nice with that unexpected energy happening in your 10th house with Uranus still there now that it's direct, but also you still have Jupiter in your 11th house, Leo rising, with Jupiter moving into Cancer a little bit later on into next year. So just really take advantage of Jupiter being in your hopes, dreams and wishes in your manifestation house right now. So now is the time to manifest. I know that this new moon is challenging, but it is also quite a good time to sort of manifest something, or manifest a way to overcome the challenges, if you know what I mean. So manifestation is going to be key for you this month, knowing that what you desire is on its way. But all up for you, Leo and Leo rising. This will be a month of focusing on your finances, focusing on your sense of self. There could be some trigger or challenge coming up around that, and there could be some challenges coming up to do with the new moon in your 10th house and also this full moon in your 3rd house. So there could be some culmination points coming to do with how you communicate and express yourself and what you put out there this month ahead. So there could just be some changes that are shifting and changing on their way. So just pay attention to what's coming up and just let the dust settle before making any important decisions this month, Leo rising. For Virgo and Virgo rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th house and also your 2nd house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening in your 7th house of partnerships, your relationships, or if you're married, your marriage. So there could be some new goals or inspiration that you're wanting to work towards to do with your clientele and all your relationships in your life, to do with your one-to-one connections. If you are someone who works with clients, maybe you're wanting to call in clients that are aligned with you in a very deeply spiritual or emotional way. So there could be some things that you need to revisit or revise of how you show up in these relationships. So you could be revising how you do this, or things that you need to do more of to call these types of clients into your life, especially with Mercury and Venus stationed direct in this house for you this month. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your second house of finances and your 8th house of other people's shared resources. So something is coming up for a culmination point here to do with your financial streams of income. I really feel like this is really deeply connected to your clientele. Maybe you're removing or ending certain streams of income that have been transforming over these past few years with the eclipses happening on this axis for you, Virgo rising. I feel like there is something that's quite triggering and challenging coming up for a closing, for an ending. But again, like I said, this full moon is a time of pause, halt. Don't make any rash decisions this month around the time of this full moon. Just wait till the dust settles so you can really get a clear idea of what it is you want to do and the decisions that you want to make, especially with Mercury still moving out of its shadow period, with Mercury your chart ruler, with Venus still moving out of her retrograde period, which is very heavily involved in this full moon. So just proceed with caution. I know you will, you're Virgo rising. So caution is, and working for a mindset of caution is probably an energy that you're very familiar with, Virgo and Virgo rising. So then on the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into your Aries 8th house. So maybe those conversations or ideas or plans can start moving forward now. Maybe you can start taking action on those things that were coming up around the time of that full moon. On the 18th, Mars will be moving into your Leo 12th house, so this could be a little challenging, a little triggering, maybe to do with your finances. Maybe something is finally coming to an end, coming to a close. The 12th house is the house of endings, and Mars does rule your 8th house of Aries. So something could be coming to a close, coming to a culmination point here that could be maybe involved to do with that full moon as well. Have a think back to mid to late last year. This is Mars finally wrapping up the end of that retrograde shadow period as well. On the 20th of April, the Sun will be moving into your Taurus 9th house, illuminating maybe some travel or connecting with people from overseas, or any legalities that you might be experiencing or working towards, like higher law kind of energies. So there could be something to do, even higher study if you're thinking of studying, because this will lead into that new moon on the 28th of April. So just to be cautious, again, it's another lunation that is a little tricky. Don't make any sudden rash decisions again, because there will be a big trigger coming up around the time of this full moon, and it could be to do with your 12th and 6th houses. It could be to do with things happening behind the scenes. It could be to do with the ending of these financial streams of income. It could be to do with ending of something to do with your finances. It could be to do with health, could be to do with your well-being, could be to do with work in general. So something is coming up here that's quite triggering around the time of this new moon. So know that this energy will pass, but it might feel quite intense around the 28th of April and into those next few days. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Virgo and Virgo rising. That one jumped out. Rest. Give yourself time to recuperate. I think that's really important with that Mars transiting that 12th house for you too, Virgo rising. I think that rest will be key for you, especially around the time of that new moon. I think that having Mars in your 12th house maybe really drains your energy. It's a tricky planet to have in the 12th house because it's unseen and Mars likes to be going, whereas the 12th house is very unseen, hidden. So it is a little tricky. So just prioritize rest, prioritize giving yourself time to recuperate this month, because this month it will be a big focus on your finances. It'll be a big focus on your relationships and your sense of self within your relationships, and some pretty tricky lunations happening in your second house and also in your 9th house this month, Virgo rising. For Libra and Libra rising, the energy of April will be happening throughout your 6th house, your 7th house, your 8th house, your 11th house, and also your 1st house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be conglomerating in your 6th house of health, your daily routines, your health in general, and your work and your work colleagues. So there could be some new goals or inspiration or growth that you're wanting to do around your health, that you're wanting to do around your work and daily routines. Maybe you're wanting to shift and change these up in a way that's really going to help you progress and move forward. These are ideas maybe coming up at the beginning of the month and could be progressing into the month, especially with Venus and Mercury both stationing direct in this house for you this month. So whatever is coming up for you right now, pay attention to, as they could be big themes moving into the weeks and months ahead. The 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 1st house of self. So there could be something that's coming to a culmination point to do with your sense of self and your relationships in your life. You may be needing to prioritize or close off or end some sort of situation. It could be a relationship of some kind. It could be a clientele relationship. It's a one-to-one connection that you're no longer feeling connected with. However, this full moon is a full moon to hold and wait and see how the dust settles. So if there is sort of situations that come up around the time of the full moon, just wait and see how it pans out before making any rash or harsh decisions, as you may not be thinking the clearest with Mercury and Venus are still in their retrograde shadow period, and Mercury not seeing quite clearly being in Pisces. Then on the 16th of April, Mercury will move into your Aries 7th house. So this could be a nice time to have those conversations, to put those plans into motion, to sort of get those ideas onto paper, as you're likely being able to think outside the box and maybe think a little bit clearer and think a bit more inspired. So whatever was coming up around the time of that full moon, you might be able to sort of think and put those ideas into motion now with Mercury moving out of its shadow period. So just a reminder that full moon is bringing to a culmination all of the energies that have been happening on your 1st house and your 7th house, and the eclipses that have been happening on your ascendant and descendant. So these eclipses have been deeply powerful and potent and transformative for you, Libra rising, being in such personal house placements. So then also on the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your 11th house. Now this is maybe helping you feel inspired and motivated to connect with relationships or networking circles that are going to help you progress forward in your goals. It could also mean that you're severing yourself from relationships or situations or circles that are holding you back from achieving what you want to achieve and for getting to where you want to be. You've maybe identified and realized the sort of networking you're needing to do to progress forward. Now you're ready to put those plans and that energy into motion. On the 20th of April, the sun will move into your Taurus 8th house, which will be leading into that new moon on the 28th of April. So this could be quite a triggering and challenging new moon happening in your financial axis. So this could be some energy coming up to do with what lights you up, what inspires you, and also the relationships that you have in your life. It could be to do with your romantic partnerships, it could be to do with children in your life, or just to do with relationships in your life in general that are maybe you're sort of comparing yourself to and feeling maybe a little bit inadequate in some way, or maybe you're just feeling like you're not quite where you want to be when it comes to your finances. Maybe something is coming up to trigger your financial stability or trigger your financial streams of income. So just remember, what's coming up to trigger you right now is helping you understand the triggers that are holding you back in some way or triggering you in some way that you're needing to overcome this challenge so that it's not going to trigger you going forward. Easier said than done. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Libra and Libra rising. Hard work, commitment, and perseverance. I like that energy. I think that's really to do with that Mars in your 11th house of Leo. I think that hard work and perseverance, just really persevering through this trigger that could be coming up to do with your finances, could be coming up to do with your financial status or your financial streams of income. I think that putting in that commitment and perseverance, putting in the hard work, getting to where you want to be, it's going to take a little bit of legwork. It's going to take a little bit of more sweat and tears than maybe you were expecting, but I do feel like it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's going to really set you up for success going forward. So all up for you, Libra rising. It is going to be quite a personally triggering and challenging full moon this month. There's going to be a lot of energy to do with your finances and seeing where you're at, reassessing, maybe getting triggered to do with something to do with around your finances, and also maybe going after and feeling inspired to going after your hopes, dreams and wishes and putting in that hard work. So for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 5th house, your 6th house, your 7th house, your 10th house, and also your 12th house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening throughout your 5th house of relationships, what lights you up, brings you joy, and also children if you have any children in your life. So there could be some new inspirational energy that is coming through to you in this area in life. Maybe you're wanting to put more time, energy, and resources into the things that just light you up and bring you joy. You're tired of not investing in things that make you happy. Now is the time to put that energy and money and resources into that, because life is too short, to be honest. So at the beginning of the month, you could be just really reassessing where it is you're at, where it is you're wanting to invest in. Maybe you're looking at what is bringing me joy, what isn't, what can I cut out, what can I remove, or what projects that I'm working on are really lighting me up and inspiring me. Especially with Mercury and Venus stationing direct in this house for you, you're likely gaining a lot of insights and looking back in order to progress forward. You're looking at what worked, what didn't, and what does make you happy now, which maybe didn't make you happy before, or vice versa. 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 12th and 6th houses. So this full moon is the final sort of full moon wrapping up that eclipses on your Libra Aries axis. This full moon could be highlighting and identifying maybe some health challenges or issues that you've been working through. It could be highlighting some work or some colleague issues, or just daily routines that you've coming to a close, that are coming to a culmination point. Maybe things are needing to come to an end or come to a close because this cycle or chapter in life is up for you. You're no longer feeling inspired or passionate about this area in life. This area in life has undergone a lot of transformation. Maybe your health has undergone a lot of transformation these past couple of years. You're finally at that point where you're ready to step into this new healthier version of yourself. However, this full moon is triggering, challenging, and I do say proceed with caution around the time of this full moon. It's a halt, wait till the dust has settled type of energy. So whatever is coming up now, please avoid making any decisions or actions that are impulsive or are going to be quite serious, or you need to make these serious decisions. If you can, wait a couple of days until the dust settles a little bit, especially because Mercury is still in Pisces. We're not thinking quite clearly, and Venus is still moving out of her retrograde cycle, as well as Mercury, but Venus is still not quite direct yet around the time of this full moon. On the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into your Aries 6th house, so this could be a good time to start having those conversations that maybe were coming up around the time of that full moon. This could be a good time to start putting those ideas and plans into motion and moving forward with this energy, especially with Mercury conjoining Neptune in this house for you. You could be having insights or downloads that maybe you weren't privy to before. On the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo 10th house. This is a great energy for feeling inspired, passionate, and lit up to do with your career and public achievements. Have a think back to mid to late last year when Mars was in your Leo 10th house. These energies could be coming back up for you to revisit and review as Mars is still moving out of its retrograde shadow period. But as your chart ruler, this energy is really making you focus on your career and your most public achievements and where it is you want to go, and maybe you're letting go of certain things or projects you've been working on that feel no longer inspiring. On the 20th of April, the Sun will be moving into your Taurus 7th house, highlighting your relationships in your life, your one-to-one connections, or if you're married, your marriage. And this is leading into this Taurus new moon happening on the 28th of April. This new moon will be a little bit triggering, a little bit challenging when it comes to your work and home life. Maybe there is this need of balancing, and it's really triggering some sort of relationship in your life. Maybe you're needing to find this balance for your home and work life in order to ensure you're giving enough time and energy to the relationships or clientele in your life. Maybe you're putting too much focus on putting yourself out there and you're not distributing this energy equally enough. So it's important to identify the triggers that are coming up for you around the time of this new moon, and identify how you can overcome them, or just identify them in general so you know how to work through them when they come up again. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Scorpio rising. let go, relax and release. Interesting energy, especially with that new moon happening in your 12th house of Libra, which is a lot of letting go, a lot of ending. So this month there may be a lot of let go and release, and to relax and release. So letting go of things in order to relax, not always the easiest for you, Scorpio rising, but there is a need to let go and relax this month. I think there is a need to surrender for you this month in order to sort of go with the flow. Not easy for a Scorpio rising, but that's sort of when what's called to the energy for this month. So all up for this month for you, Scorpio rising, there will be a focus on what lights you up, brings you joy, your health, your well-being, your co-workers, and something coming to a close here. A focus on your relationships in your life, and potentially need to balance your home and work life and the energy that you're putting into those relationships in your life. So for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 4th house, your 5th house, your 6th house, your 9th house, and also your 11th house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening in your 4th house of home and family. So you could be wanting to invest energy and time into transforming your home and family life. There could be some big changes happening here for you, Sagittarius rising. So at the beginning of the month, there could be just a focus on revisiting maybe situations that needed to be relooked at in some way. If you're looking at purchasing a property or investing in property or land for the long term, there could be a revisiting of maybe old properties or pieces of land that you've maybe looked at previously, especially with Mercury and Venus stationing direct in this house for you. There's going to be a lot of focus on your home and family life over this month. It's going to be a big theme and into the next few weeks. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 11th house of Libra and your 5th house of Aries. So you have undergone quite transformational energy in these houses for you with the eclipses happening on this axis. This full moon will be highlighting a culmination of this energy. There's something that's coming to a culmination point, something that's coming to an ending. But again, like I said, this energy is a halt and wait and see what happens. I would advise against making any rash decisions around the time of this full moon, as there's a lot of tricky, challenging energy happening. So I would suggest wait and see how the dust settles before taking any permanent steps forward. Just see the outcome and start to move forward, as we're not thinking quite clearly, as we still have Mercury and Venus in their retrograde shadow periods. Mercury still in Pisces, not thinking as clearly as it usually would. So on the 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into Aries. This is a good time to maybe put those ideas and plans into motion. It will be in your 5th house, so maybe communicating and expressing yourself in a way is going to feel a lot easier and a lot clearer, and you might have new insights or downloads that you weren't quite privy to before, with Mercury joining Neptune not long after it moves into Aries. Then on the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo 9th house, so there could be some challenges or aggravation or even motivational energy to do with maybe traveling, connecting with people from a foreign culture. If you've got higher law or higher legalities that you're dealing with, there could be some challenging issues around that, but there could just be some really good energy around putting yourself out there and getting out of your comfort zone and expanding your horizons in some way. On the 20th of April, the Sun will be moving into your Taurus 6th house, and this will be leading up to the new moon on the 28th of April. So this new moon is a triggering new moon. Both lunations this month are quite challenging, so I would suggest to just pay attention to what's coming up and triggering you right now. Just know that whatever is coming up, so for you personally, it could be to do with how you communicate and express yourself and put yourself out there, or any travel that you're planning or that you're doing could feel quite triggering to your health and well-being, or your work is just not allowing you to do the travel maybe that you're wanting to do, or just something to do with your co-workers is triggering some sort of way you're communicating and expressing yourself. So something is coming up here. It's a new moon, so it's a time to let go, release, surrender, but just be conscious of the triggers that are coming up for you, as these are giving you an indication of what you might need to work on so you don't get triggered by them again. Let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Guidance. You are divinely guided. I think that's perfect for you, Sagittarius rising, ruled by Jupiter. Very divinely guided. Jupiter is in your 7th house right now, so You are feeling maybe this month is quite divinely guided. There's a lot of potent energy happening. There's a lot of intense energy happening around the North Node of fate in your 4th house of home and family. So just know that you are divinely guided, that things are working and happening for you, especially moving through these bit challenging energies this month. So all up for you, Sagittarius rising, there'll be a big focus on your home and family life, a focus on what lights you up and inspires you, and maybe just waiting to see how the dust settles with relationships in your life. And there could be something triggering and challenging coming up to do with your health and well-being around communicating and expressing yourself, and maybe some travel that you need to do around this month too. Sagittarius rising. So for Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your 3rd house, your 4th house, your 5th house, your 8th house, and also your 10th house. At the beginning of the month, the Piscean energy will be happening throughout your 3rd house of how you communicate and express yourself, any study that you're doing or wanting to do, and just your local and extended family. So there could be something coming up here that is being transformed and changed in some way. Maybe you're transforming how you communicate and express yourself and put yourself out there. So this energy will be quite prominent at the beginning of the month and moving into the rest of this month, with Venus and Mercury stationing direct in this house for you. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your 10th house of Libra and your 4th house of Aries. So there's something that's coming to a culmination here to do with your work home life, something to do with your career, your public achievements is maybe coming to a close or coming to an end around the time of this full moon. This energy is a wait, hold, and see what happens. Don't make any permanent or rash decisions around the time of this full moon. So it is a culmination point of the eclipses and transformative energy that has been happening on this axis for you over the last couple of years. So it's kind of like that culmination point. So just pay attention to what's coming up, but try not to make any decisions or any permanent decisions around this time, as Mercury is still in Pisces. You're not seeing, thinking quite clearly, and Venus is still retrograde. She's just about to station direct, and they're both moving out of their shadow period. So it's important to just wait, halt, see what happens, and then progress forward towards later in the month. The 16th of April, Mercury will be moving into your Aries 4th house. So this could be a good time to communicate and express yourself, put those ideas and plans into motion, and start getting things underway. You might start having some intuitive insights or downloads with Mercury conjoining Neptune not long after it moves into Aries. On the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo 8th house, so there could be some tricky energy to do with your shared resources. There could be motivation to increase or change or shift your sources of income, your streams of income, but you could just feel really motivated and passionate and inspired to maybe invest or separate yourself from some, or liberate yourself from some sort of debt in your life to do with other people's resources or shared resources in some way. On the 20th of April, the sun will be moving into your Taurus 5th house, and this is leading up to that new moon on the 28th of April happening in your 5th house of Taurus. So this new moon will be a little triggering again, so there could be some challenging energy coming up to do with your finances, your financial houses around the time of this new moon, because Mars will be opposing Pluto in your 2nd house and will be forming a T-square to this new moon energy. So again, whatever is coming up around the time of this new moon maybe is identifying some triggers that you could work on to overcome, or identify ways to overcome, so you don't get so triggered from this energy again leading into the next few weeks and months. So let's have a look at what is coming up for you in the cards Capricorn and Capricorn rising. That one jumped out. Growth, overcoming limitations. And I think that is really to do with that Taurus new moon. Overcoming those limitations and those restrictions that you might be putting on yourself to do with your finances and your financial streams of income, to do with your resources, to do with your values around how you make your money. So I think that is a big key focus for you, Capricorn rising, this month. But all up, it is going to be a focus on your communication, how you express yourself, maybe some local or international travel that you're planning and thinking of doing. There could be a big focus on your home and family life, and there could be some triggers and challenges coming up to do with maybe work or your home life or your family, or even to do with your financial streams of income and what lights you up and brings you joy. So for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this energy of April will be happening throughout your second house, your third house, your fourth house, your ninth house, and your seventh house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening in your second house of values, your finances, how you make your money. So there is this transformative energy happening for you around how you make your money in general, your resources. Maybe you're planning on some new financial streams of income that really light you up and align with your sense of values. Maybe you're really planning on how you can sort of manifest more of this energy into your life. So this energy is going to be really strongly sort of a theme this month, especially with Mercury and Venus stationing direct in this house for you this month. On the 13th of April, the full moon will be happening in your Libra 9th house and your Aries 3rd house. So some sort of communication or study or travel situation is coming to a culmination point. Now, I do remember that I did say that this full moon is going to be quite a challenging one. It's a halt. Just wait and see what happens. It's a culmination point of what we've been going through in our transformative energies in this house and this axis for you over the past few years with the eclipses happening in these houses for you. So just pay attention to what's coming to a close, what's coming to an end. Maybe you are finalizing some study. Just don't make any permanent or harsh or rash decisions around the time of this full moon, because we do have Mercury still in Pisces. It's conjoining Neptune. We're not thinking, seeing, and understanding quite clearly. Venus is still retrograde, and they're both moving out of their shadow retrograde periods after this full moon. So just be conscious that you're not quite clear with everything that's going on around the time of this full moon. So just wait to see what happens. On the 16th of April, Mercury will move into your Aries 3rd house. This is a good time to start communicating and expressing yourself. Neptune will conjoin Mercury will conjoin Neptune pretty quickly after it moves into this house for you. So this is a nice time to maybe expand your mindset and have a different perspective on things than you did probably before, as you weren't privy to maybe this information. So this is a good time to start progressing forward with the information that you've received around the time of the full moon on the 13th. On the 18th of April, Mars will move into your Leo 7th house. You may be wanting to separate yourself from relationships or clientele or energies that no longer align with you to do with your relationships. Maybe you're just wanting to separate yourself from energy that is holding you back from expressing yourself in a true, potent way. You're undergoing a lot of personal transformation with Pluto in your first house, especially if you have your ascendant in the early degrees of Aquarius. You're really feeling this energy. So this energy is going to be heightened and highlighted with Mars transiting your 7th house of Leo. On the 20th of April, the Sun will move into your Taurus 4th house, which will lead into this Taurus new moon on the 28th of April. So there is some sort of new energy that you're calling in for your home and family life. Maybe you're wanting to call in a new place to live. Maybe you're just wanting to deepen or change or shift your relationships with your family, or maybe just situations to do with your family is coming up. It is a triggering and challenging new moon. You do have Pluto and Mars forming an opposition in your 1st and 7th houses, which will be forming a T-square to this new moon. So this energy is likely feeling really personal for you, Aquarius rising. So whatever is coming up, just know that it's coming up for a reason, so you can identify the triggers and challenges so that you can start to understand how to work through this energy so you're not so triggered from it moving forward into the next few weeks, months, and years ahead. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. This card has come up, but it literally slid out of the deck. Hard work, commitment, and perseverance. I think that is just such a good energy for you right now, Aquarius rising. You've got Pluto on your ascendant or near your ascendant in your 1st house. It's helping you persevere, helping you transform something. There's some hard work that could be going on behind the scenes. There's some tricky, challenging energy with this Mars opposing your ascendant or conjoining your descendant. It's a challenging energy regardless of how strong and happy Mars is in Leo. It's still going to be a trigger. There's a lot of triggers happening around that new moon at the end of the month. This month is going to be focusing on your communication, on your finances, on your home and family, and on your relationships in your life. So it is going to feel a little bit tricky. Just know that whatever is coming up will pass, and to not make any harsh or sudden decisions around that full moon at the beginning of the month. Pisces and Pisces rising. This energy of April will be happening throughout your first house, your second house, your third house, your sixth house, and also your eighth house. At the beginning of the month, this Piscean energy will be happening in your house of self. There's a lot of personal transformation you're undergoing at the moment, Pisces rising. There's this deep need to transform your literal physical self and to align with this new version of yourself. So you could be revisiting maybe how you've perceived yourself in some way, or how you want others to perceive you, or how you want to just generally be perceived, how you want to be in the world, how you want to show up. This is going to be a big theme for you this month, especially with Venus and Mercury stationing direct in this house for you. This is going to help you sort of move forward with this energy over the next few weeks and into next month as well. On the 13th of April, full moon will be happening in your 8th house of Libra and your 2nd house of Aries. So this full moon is a halt, wait and see what happens. Don't make any harsh or permanent decisions around the time of this full moon. This full moon is a culmination of all the transformative energy that you've gone through on this axis over the past eclipses over the past couple of years. So it's important just to observe what is happening, let the dust settle before making any important decisions. So just pay attention to what's coming up, Pisces rising, as we're not seeing quite clearly. Even though you do have a lot of this energy in your first house, Mercury is not seeing clearly, Venus is not seeing clearly. They're both moving out of their shadow retrograde periods, and Mercury doesn't function as clear as it should in Pisces. So just be conscious of this energy. From the 16th, when Mercury does move into your Aries second house, it will conjoin Neptune, but this may give you some insight and downloads or a different perspective on this situation that could be coming up around the time of the full moon. So this is when you can start using this information and working towards these goals or these energies that are coming up for you, and start putting those plans into motion, or just start feeling inspired to work towards it. Then on the 18th of April, Mars will be moving into your Leo for 6th house. So there could be some tricky energy to do with your health, to do with your daily routines, to do with your work or your co-workers. So just to be cautious of this energy. It could be a bit triggering, a bit challenging around the time of the 18th of April. Have a think back to mid to late last year. Whatever was coming up then may be coming up again as Mars is starting to fully move out of its retrograde shadow period. On the 20th of April, the Sun will be moving into your Taurus 3rd house, which will lead up to the new moon, which will be happening on the 28th of April in your 3rd house of communication, local travel, your neighborhood, your extended family, and publishing or putting your work out there and study. So there could be something coming up here. There could be some new energy that you're wanting to call in, but it's also quite a triggering new moon. There's something coming up here that is to do with endings, that is to do with something behind the scenes that's not quite clear, that's to do with something to do with your health or your well-being or your work in general. Maybe you're feeling like you're unable to communicate and express yourself as you're being held back. Something is needing to be worked on around this area in life for you. Maybe you feel like you can't fully express yourself to do with something that you've been sort of held back from, either through work or a situation that's causing you to be quiet, causing you to not speak up quite now. I would just wait, see what these triggers are, understand what's triggering you, and then you can progress and move forward. This new moon is a triggering new moon. Just to be cautious of this energy, another challenging time just like that full moon. So just pay attention to what triggers are coming up for you around the 28th and into the couple of days after. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Pisces and Pisces rising. That one instantly flicked up. So nature, notice the harmony around you. I think that's so crucial for you, Pisces and Pisces rising. I think it's really important. You've got a lot of focus on your sense of self with these eclipses on your 1st house and your 7th house. A lot of Piscean energy right now. Saturn is going to finally move out of your 1st house. You've had Neptune just move into your 2nd house. So there's a lot of energy happening. So notice the harmony around you, notice what is going right, notice the ebbs and flows of things, and notice and lean into that and help that guide you through this month's energy, because this month is going to be a big focus on you, your sense of self, your finances, your financial streams of income, how you make your money, how you communicate and express yourself. And there could be some triggers or challenges to do with working behind the scenes, your health in general, and also to do with your financial streams of income this month.